Before I was like also working more or less abstract, but besides I was making installations. And the main reason was a feeling of getting an unhappy feeling about the way I was working. It was very much conceptual, and there were always a certain kind of rules I implemented on my way of working, but also my knowledge. I did study beside on the art academy. I studied some art history. I did also some art history at the university in Groningen, and this knowledge it's valuable. It's very valuable, of course, if you want to know more about what's going on in the world and how art developments came to existence. But at that moment it started to become a little bit of a burden, as if every move I made, everything I did on my canvas was directly connected with art history, with concepts, and I had the feeling that I was not mentally free anymore to do what I wanted. And so I was looking for a method of losing this, not really losing this knowledge, but trying to give it as less influence as possible in my way of working. I came to this method of color field painting, splash painting, a way of working in which I'm a kind of partly responsible for what's going on, which means that the work itself, like the viscosity of the different kinds of qualities of the paint I use, are more important than the movement I make. I also, to be honest, I was discovering this as a side influence, this photographs of the the Hubble telescope. I don't know if you saw these pictures, but they were pictures of outer space, of galaxies, and all these pictures were in the one or other way colorized. The gases and all the different molecule structures or atomic structures or whatever radiation structures, they got different values, and in order to see them properly they used a method to make these different substances visible in different ways. So you get this beautiful, like surrealistic clouds of how do I say this? Like the forms were completely random, and this attracted my attention in that time also. So it was one side like deconceptualizing my art. I was doing in that time also a lot of research on art, space and identity. I made some installations like in Berlin and in Amsterdam about this. But then these two things, like the Hubble telescope pictures and my way of deconceptualizing my art, came to this method of working, and hence I called them galaxies coincidentia, like a galaxy is also a coincidence. I first noticed his work at art history in my art academy, when my art teachers were telling us about abstract expressionism of the United States, and this whole movement attracted me. I was myself in the art academy in that time on the edge of working from like realistic or figurative, not realistic, but figurative landscape art paintings. It was tending more and more towards a kind of abstraction of this, and so I heard about Rothko and about his way of working, his color field paintings, but also his, let's say, his mysticism, his way of working with art as a meaning of a transcendental position of the mind. And the first time I experienced his work was in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam. In that time there were one or two rooms where you had American abstract expressionism, and there was some work of Mark Rothko and Barnett Newman. So Barnett Newman was the guy who was making this very strong stripes, very geometric, and Mark Rothko was the guy who was making it more fluid, more I would say emotional or empathic. And whereas Barnett Newman was the guy who was making it out of a very, in my view anyway, cerebral way concept. So I loved the work of Rothko. It immediately appealed to me, and through all my career as an artist, he stayed in my mind, in the background. To be honest, I heard about the Mark Rothko seminar through a friend of mine in Belarus, in Vitebsk, where 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, sorry, I did take part in a seminar on Marc Chagall's work, and so there someone told me, like, there are things going on in Daugavpil, and this Mark Rothko art center is very interesting, you should check it out. And so I looked at the pages and saw that there was a seminar going on, so I contacted you. And what is the most, till now, the largest impression I have from this seminar? Well, besides the pleasure of working with these colleagues, which is really enormous, bright and nice, and we have great talks about art, about life, about anything, and I appreciate the differences of everybody. It's also very interesting. So I love to be next to Mark Rothko, and he's a great inspirator. And it's nice to have this, even though maybe it's not, you know, the largest collection of Rothkos. It doesn't matter. The stuff that's there is important, and so it gives me a good feeling. That's what I remember and take with me.